Namaskar, everyone. So, welcome to Monday on the Balcony. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it today. Yeah, wonderful day in Trinidad and Tobago, TNT. Sun is up. Beautiful dawn. Yeah, so happy Monday to all of you. And when I thought of what I'll say to you today, what eventually came to mind as I try to give you a very positive message, a very empowering message, a very uplifting message, what came to mind is the tendency we have to think of God outside. That's a very strong tendency in us because of the human experience. We're caught in the external world of color, of smell, of taste, of touch, of sounds. So we are caught in the externality, and our ego works and in that, duality. So there is consciousness inside of me, there is a conscious being inside of me. We are in a conscious universe, and everything is in interaction with me. But the tendency is to think that God or the divine or that which created us, that which sustains us, that is something outside of us because we see an external world. And when we look at the powers of life, we see the sun outside of us, we see lightning outside of us, we see the power of water outside of us, we see the strong winds outside of us, the forces of earthquake, volcano, everything is outside of us, and all life seems to be outside of us. So we tend to think of a God as being something outside of us. But no. No. The outer world is projected from a source. Like a projection, like a movie on a screen when you go to a cinema and it's projected on the screen. Well, today, more or less, it's not projected anymore, but you have a wire goes to it and the screen comes alive. So the universe is a projection, as it were, from the inside out. So to really get to the essence of life and the power that created and sustains life, to really get there, we have to go into the internals of the universe. We have to go to what we call the subtle layer behind the gross, and then we have to go to the source that is sustaining or projecting or holding up the subtle layer and this gross. So if we don't go to that level, to the source, to the subtle level and then to the source, then we are so caught in the externality and think that God is somewhere outside there. And when we think, oh my God, where's God? I don't see God. We expect to see something. We expect to hear something supernatural. No, 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 no. God is us. It's a life that is manifesting through us. It's a power that is manifesting through us. That's where God is, and in everything around us. And behind the gross is a subtle that is empowering it, like electricity and the light bulb. And behind electricity is a source that is generating it. And so too with the universe. Behind the subtle powers, subtle field of the universe is a source that is projecting all of this, that is powering up all of this. So it's important to think about it. That the universe is driven from within, it's powered from within. And unless we know what's happening in the internals, then our concept of God will be elementary. And our experience of God will be illusionary. When we see the hurricane, when we see the lightning and hear the thunder, when we observe cataclysmic movements, we tend to think of an external power doing it. But now it's happening on a subtle level. The powers are generated at a subtle level. It's creating what you see externally. So your physical body is a projection from that source being. External to us and our individual consciousness, the physical body belongs to the environment, to the world outside. We are just occupying it. So the whole question of coming within our being, making the journey inside of us, in the consciousness, making that journey in the consciousness, we come to the source of being, and that's where we begin to have an experience of God. So the whole idea in the Eastern thinking, spiritual thinking, metaphysical thinking, is God is within. The power that sustains the universe, that created it and continues to create. The power that dismantles things, it's a power within. And that's why it begs the question, who am I? Who am I? And how can I understand and experience this source of power within me that is called God? And more so, how can I see its wisdom? And how can I work in harmony with it? Those are the questions that are important. So the journey to self is the journey to God, is the journey to the divine. And it's the important journey of life, the journey to self. And as we journey deeper and deeper into consciousness, as we uncover deeper layers of being, we see the world differently. Our vision of the world becomes different. So hence the need to see God within. Hence the need to make the journey within. If we are to really understand what God is, not who God is. God is manifesting as a who in every living being, every living species. And then the what is behind that. Not a he or she as we see in the gender universe. No. It becomes a what inside, indescribable. And in the Eastern thinking it's called that. Sanskrit, tat. Tatvamasi, that thou art. That's what your existence is. Can you appreciate that? Do you see that it's more important to go within and to truly understand the energies that move with your being? The thought power, the emotional power, the intentional power, the vitality, it's all coming from within. Learning how to tap into that, you learn how to live in a superconscious way. So it begs the question, and it provides an opportunity for a journey inside when we ask, who am I? What am I? Where is the divine? And the beauty of this experience is that as you go within, the question starts to become redundant because you begin to experience deeper levels of contentment, of love, of fulfillment, of joy. And the question just disappears because God becomes an experience and experience where you feel fulfilled, where you feel joyful, where you feel carried, where you feel held, and where you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you exist in the divine. You exist in the divine. Of course, I always remind you the biblical saying, in Him we live, move, and have our being. I've changed that to in that I live, move, and have my being. And the Hindus say, Aham, the I, Brahmasmi, the I is held in the divine, carried in the divine, and its nature is divine. Aham, Brahmasmi. Brahman is the divine. So I leave you with that God is within you, and God is an experience within you. And when you begin to experience that God within, you begin to see it everywhere, and you begin to feel joyful, secure, carried. You begin to feel guided. Knowledge comes to you naturally, and you learn how to navigate the world differently. So would you seek God within? Would you make today a day of seeking God within to find that love and peace and contentment and joy and the power to thrive? Would you do that today? Can you do that? That will make your day exceptional. Let's be more loving today, more in harmony with our world. Let's light up our world with our wisdom, with our smile, with our compassion, with our care, and let's make this day one that will feel timeless in the moment and in flow. Have a blessed day, everyone. Happy Monday to all of you, my dear friends. Namaskar.